Ever wish you could see through walls?
Like, have actual X-ray vision.
Well, today's deep dive is about the closest thing.
The next best thing, for sure.
Virtual sensors.
We're talking about using AI to measure things in places where you just couldn't.
Places where even the toughest instruments would. Like,
Instant melt, basically. Intrigued.
let's dive in.
Okay, so...
We're jumping right into it with this research paper presented at a national conference on...
Defense and security research, right?
That's the one.
Okay.
And it's all about how they are using AI to create a virtual sensor for this place called IFMIF-DONES.
IFMIF-DONES.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of like
Like a Star Wars thing?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it kind of is, though. This facility, it's going to be a cutting-edge facility focused on fusion power,
Okay.
but specifically how materials hold up under intense neutron radiation, which is
Which is a big deal if you're trying to make fusion power actually work.
a major hurdle, yeah.
So fusion power, we're talking clean energy, huge potential, all that good stuff. But IFMIF-DONES, that's where they're figuring out how to make sure it doesn't,
Explode.
Yeah, basically.
Well, melt down, more like, see, they're going to generate neutrons by smashing a beam of deuterons.
Yeah.
Essentially heavy hydrogen atoms.
Okay.
They're smashing them into a lithium target.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
The problem is the radiation levels in that target chamber are just
Off the charts.
off the charts.
Yeah.
Traditional sensors just get totally fried.
It'd be like trying to, I don't know, read a book while standing inside the sun.
Ouch.
And they need to know what's going on in there, right? Like, they can't just be blind.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maintaining the right vacuum pressure in that chamber is absolutely critical.
Okay.
Too high, and the deuteron beam, which is what's creating those neutrons, gets disrupted.
Makes sense.
Too low, and you risk the lithium boiling.
Which, again, not good.
Not good at all.
So they can't put a sensor in the chamber, but they need to know what's happening inside. Hence, virtual sensors. How do they even begin to tackle that?
AI.
Okay.
They're training an AI model using data from sensors that are positioned further upstream in the facility.
So further away from?
Yeah, where the radiation isn't quite as intense.
Making sense.
These upstream sensors, they act like clues, basically. Yeah. Giving the AI information about what's happening inside the target chamber, even though it can't see directly inside.
So it's like the AI is learning to, I don't know, read the ripples in a pond to figure out the size of the rock that was thrown in?
Okay, yeah.
Even if it can't see the splash directly?
That's a really good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
And get this.
Yeah.
They actually tested this virtual sensor on a smaller prototype called MuVacAS.
MuVacAS.
MuVacAS, yeah.
Get you.
And it performed incredibly well, like far exceeded the project's accuracy requirement.
Well, hold on. Before we get into how well it worked, I kind of want to hear a little more about this AI.
Sure.
You're not using just any AI, right? This is something called a Fourier neural operator.
Right, it's a mouthful.
It is, yeah. What makes this one so special?
So what's really fascinating about FNOs is they're really good at understanding and predicting really complex systems that change over time,
Okay.
like fluids.
Right.
Or in this case, how gas behaves under changing pressure.
Which I imagine is really important when you're talking about a vacuum chamber.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's something that traditional neural networks really struggle with.
Okay.
But FNOs, they're kind of built for it. It's like, imagine trying to predict the weather, right?
Okay.
But you can only look at one photo of the sky.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right, like a traditional neural network would just be kind of like, what do I do with this?
Right.
But FNOs are more like those supercomputers.
The ones meteorologists use.
Exactly. Crunching data on temperature, humidity, wind speed, all that.
Okay, so they're looking at the whole picture, not just a snapshot.
Exactly. And that's why they're such a good fit for this virtual sensor thing.
Right.
Because they can take all this data from those upstream sensors and actually predict the pressure inside that crazy environment.
With incredible accuracy, you were saying.
Right. So they were aiming for a 20% margin of error, which,
That's already pretty good, I'd say, considering...
for that kind of environment, it's practically unheard of.
Although, I gotta say, 20% error in something that volatile does sound, a tad.
A tad unnerving.
Yeah, just a tad.
Well, get this. They didn't just hit 20.
No.
They smashed it. The virtual sensor had an average error rate of 2.38%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredibly precise.
It really is.
But it kind of makes you wonder,
yeah.
could there be, too much reliance on virtual sensors you know?
Right, like what could go wrong?
Exactly. What happens if the AI gets something wrong, especially in a situation like that?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's why you have to do so much testing on these virtual sensors.
Right.
You have to be really sure that they're making good predictions.
Especially when it's something important, like...
Safety. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know, trusting a self-driving car, but even riskier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, this whole thing got me thinking, are there other situations where you could use this?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what's really exciting about this. This
Yeah.
isn't just about fusion.
Right.
Imagine like monitoring conditions inside nuclear reactors
Okay.
or in deep sea environments
Oh, wow.
or even in space
Places where, what, it's too dangerous or expensive to send people?
or both. Virtual sensors could completely change how we do things in those fields,
So instead of sending a probe to another planet,
which takes years.
you could just use virtual sensors to figure things out.
From orbit, potentially.
So you could analyze, what, the atmosphere of a planet without even landing on it?
Exactly.
And think about the cost savings.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of 100 sensors, you just need, like...
a handful, maybe?
And the AI fills in the blanks.
Exactly. And it's not just space. Think about, like, infrastructure.
Bridges, tunnels, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You could use virtual sensors to find problems, you know, before...
Or they become big problems.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
before you could even see them.
That's amazing.
This research has a lot of scientists really excited.
Yeah, I bet.
Because it opens up so many possibilities.
Right.
It's like we're giving ourselves a whole new set of senses, but enhanced by AI.
It's like that old saying, necessity is the mother of invention.
There you go.
They needed a way to measure something impossible, and it's like they accidentally created this whole new...
It does make you think.
What else can we measure with these things, you know?
Right.
What other, like, blind spots can AI help us see past?
It's like it really challenges our whole idea of what a sensor even is.
Because usually we think of...
Something physical, right?
Yeah, like a thermometer or something.
But this is showing us that sensors can be, like, totally digital.
Just algorithms.
Yeah, just algorithms processing information.
Yeah. So it's not about what we can physically detect anymore. It's about...
What data we can get.
And what we can do with it.
Exactly. Imagine using virtual sensors to, like, keep an eye on glaciers.
Okay.
Seeing how stable they are in real time.
So we could predict sea level rise even better.
Exactly.
Ooh, or what about this?
Yeah.
Using AI to look inside volcanoes?
Whoa.
So we get better eruption warnings.
Now that would be amazing.
Right.
The possibilities are, they're really mind-blowing when you start thinking about it.
It's like we're not just limited to, like, our 5 senses anymore.
We've got this whole other way of sensing the world now.
It's a whole new era of, like, scientific exploration, but with AI as our guide.
And the most exciting part is, we're just getting started.
Yeah, who knows what we'll be able to measure next, right?
Right. This research is just a tiny glimpse into what virtual sensors could become.
It's a future full of possibilities. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of virtual sensors.
Fascinating stuff.
Until next time, keep exploring.